Last time on The Empire's Edge.
This has been signed by each one of the council members, and it is a formal invitation to a presentation ceremony to have Murjak's carapace presented to the Prenoch Rogan's matriarch. And it touches the Clysra to it, and then it actually does what seems to be an honor tally, a new one, overlapping the other ones.
Go about your duties.
And again, it just wheels itself around and is right back.
He said duties.
Right back out. Right back out the
No
door.
wonder you failed in intelligence. Well, I did kind of signal them all when I expended some of my resource, quote unquote, to heal an enemy combatant.
And this incursion must be pushed back. They want you to go out, go to that place, and find out, in essence, if Boris is right, who is doing that kind of damage, who has the capacity to have that skill set.
When do we leave?
You leave now. So you guys are first taken back to your own quarters. And again, once you're really out of the sphere of the main council chamber, you're really just sort of on your own. You can imagine there's definitely a guard protecting you mentally, but it isn't as though you need to be escorted, and you know the way at this point too. But when they said like immediately, they probably really meant like tomorrow morning. So if you guys need whatever preparations you needed to make, good night's sleep, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
How far away is this? Like, if we get the idea?
They would say days. So
Oh,
it would take
wow.
like maybe a 3-4 days, something like that.
Is there anything we need to try to prep? Because we know about Umber Hulks. Anything we need to try to prep with them?
Headdresses?
Right.
For them?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to try and convince them to put bags over their heads. I think it'll be just more effective to hit them with the hammer.
I think we need to hand it to them and say, we weren't asking, and then we put the bag over their head.
All right, so
Or
then
we beat them unconscious and then put a bag over their head.
6 or 2 threes.
might not need the bag at the end of all of that. So
You
guys are back
underestimate how
there.
low I'll roll.
Yeah. And gathering like food stuff. More than likely, you wouldn't need to worry about that either, because drones will probably carry that sort of thing.
Right,
So
yeah.
you guys are more elitist. You are treated like the adepts, those sisters. So you can pretty much just now you can order them around too, and they'll do what they want. So that next morning, unless you guys have something else you want to do apart from just saying that you've rested, you have your spell slots full.
I will be taking, which one am I reading? Stonework Simplified, just to not waste the days traveling.
Yeah, same with me. I'll take what I'm studying.
Because that's been like 4 or so days ago, maybe 5 that you got the books. Traveling, if it's about 4, just trying to click toward about
Yeah.
a month's time of
We'll be
study.
about halfway when we get back from
Yeah.
whatever this is.
That sounds about right, yeah. So then the next morning, it's a bigger group than what you're probably used to going with. That in addition to Shatask and Iskin Thovit, there is another adept and 4 soldiers. That one of the other adepts seems to be really taking care of all the drones, and there's a contingent of 8 drones, and they seem like pack drones that they have all the gear and equipment that people would be
Garden
needing.
variety.
Yeah, and then 4 additional soldiers beyond Iskin Thovit that seem to be more around that adept and the drones themselves. And then, of course, the 3 of you and your hidden.
So this is quite the company.
It is. It's a pretty big group that you guys are in.
Yeah, and do any of them try to communicate with us, or are we really just with Shatask and Iskin Thovit?
Well, you do get the idea after just a very brief time that the other adept is named Krisk, but that Krisk is not doing a whole lot to try to interact with you, that it's running the drones. But it would respond to you if you're thinking in its direction.
Right.
But it seems to be accepted that Shatask is the one that is your intermediary. And the other soldiers are just doing their thing. They are in no way.
Does Shatask realize that Boris doesn't need an intermediary at this point?
I would think that would had to have come through on some subtle level, but I think that would require, honestly, I'd think some kind of a saving throw on Shatask's part, because you also have, and you talked about developing, what kind of work in my thoughts, to move a thought in a different direction. So how do you feel about that, Boris?
My standard would still have been to keep Usud invisible, that he'd be on my person or nearby, because then I'm getting the magical benefits. But that as far as if they could somehow physically locate where telepathy is coming from, which is a bizarre idea to formulate, but since they're bizarre, it why
Yeah.
not? I'd want him on or as near to my person as possible, so that way they'd locate it as me, not someone else.
Yeah, as I was thinking through this, my initial thought was that as they're just kind of like scanning across your minds to see what's going on, and it's like, they're getting hungry, they're getting tired, with these thoughts that kind of come through without you thinking about them, that it's as though this is like an intermediary in your kind of worship. And so it might even be, different enough for them that they're thinking, oh, that he's like, whatever their word for praying would be, that you're constantly in this devotion state of prayer. And it's almost though you get answers back from that, that I don't know that they would actually get that until.
I think if I directed a telepathic message through Usud at Shatask directly,
then they'd get
the
it.
difference in voice, you'd go, oh, who was that?
I agree. But in a passive way,
Mhm.
I'm not sure we just jump off the page at them until they were actively looking. Because again,
I'm
if
fine
they
with
were
that.
if they pick up on Usud just being present and alive, it's still coming from
Oh,
you.
wait, they've got blind sense, don't they? Or blind sight, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, so just invisibility. Yeah, they'd be aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about
So
that.
yes, the Shatask is aware of it, and I'd stop bother. Or actually, no, I'd maintain him in an invisible state, so that way anything outside of that perceptive range wouldn't notice him. But
They say, you have a blob with big ears on your shoulder. Those are wings. Okay. We don't know what that thing is. But it goes largely like unmentioned.
yeah,
It doesn't seem, you guys are different. You're
I don't
strange.
know what these freaky things are doing. I'm
It's-
just
yeah,
gonna ignore it until
Just
it bites
one
me.
more hellish thing. But you're working with them and you've been proving yourselves
Mhm.
in ways that, there isn't any soldier or adept or sage that has proved the way that they have. But, it's still definitely there. And you guys should also still be back in time if all this goes well for your rendezvous with Thug.
Yeah,
still up
yeah,
for
that's 11 days.
Yeah, so you should be back with some days to spare before that. So you travel, and
Does anybody, as we're traveling, does anybody care that we have these books with us that we're studying? I mean, the one book has been edited by someone, and
Oh yeah, will they recognize it? Like,
Yeah,
wait a second,
actually-
I tore a chapter out of that
Well,
book.
it depends upon how long ago it was edited, because it
true.
was
And who knows
implied
it was
that it was
edited.
like generations ago.
Yeah, so-
but there could be generational knowledge in this group. We don't know.
you are
Great grandpa vandalized a book.
This group seems a little limited on knowledge.
and
Knowledge.
age. Yeah, so of all of them, Shatask is probably the eldest one in this group. And Shatask had already said something. I forgot how many episodes ago that was, but Shatask had said something tantamount to that was before her own time.
Yeah.
So that was a very much older time. So no, I don't have that information. But I would imagine at different points when you are reading whatever it was, she'll drift into it just to you realize you're being like she's reading over your shoulder.
Right.
And probably that happens to each one of you at different points.
Yeah.
Not if she could gain anything from it, but she is gleaning insights into what you guys are doing and what you're working toward.
Examining our priorities and how we interact with new knowledge.
And what kind of a talisman is that? These book things, because they don't have anything exactly like that. Jacob, as you're traveling, if you want to keep a mental note, it would be well within your ability set of the direction of these tunnels and various like turns and splits.
Because I don't remember if I had actually been drawing up any maps for this area. I want to say I feel like we had talked about that before, just kind of a general idea of locations based on where we were and relative locations to
You
where
had at
we've
some
been.
point, or
Yeah.
it was you and I sitting on the back porch talking about it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But that you were saying that you would get an idea of where tunnels come into and out of the main
Yeah,
cave.
just compounding on like that, just growing those maps or mental notes to make into maps later.
And you are getting the ideas that there are various major tracks that are in and around the city of Chatakdan by itself. And then, trails split from there. And it is truly just an underground maze. And sometimes it's obviously something that they've formed. You get to tunnels periodically
It's Atlanta with the perimeter.
that you get to places where you can tell it's just a natural fissure in the rock. You get to some places and you can tell that the tunnel's been built by the same stuff they use to make their buildings in their city. But the stuff itself might actually be bridging, but it's tube-like, so you only have a tunnel. And if you chipped your way through it, you might be above an abyss, and it would just like fall into space.
Oh,
Freaky. Yeah, we're probably very aware of that one because it goes from clack, clack, clack to clunk, clunk, clunk.
Yeah, and it'd probably be even cooler there too. So But then another one, sometimes through those materials, you do hear water, and I think you'd note where there's actually the sounds of water dripping and running. But then there's also places where it looks like you just walk up to a face of natural rock and something just like burned or drilled a hole straight through it. That for whatever reason, they said, nope, we can't go around, can't go under, can't go over, it's too far. And then whatever capacity these Inurriak had, they just made a hole straight through.
Because you mentioned that abyss thing, I just randomly decided to roll 20d6 just to see if I could survive fall from max height in 5e. I got 79. I would have lived. I would have had 7 hit points left, but I would have been alive at the bottom of that abyss.
Ow. That would be, don't bounce and land again.
Yeah.
You bounce up 15 feet and land again for, another nice, that's it.
Yeah.
69. Nice. I'm still at just shy of half.
Yeah. So we were talking about that over the weekend, just like the fact that it kind of caps out and just like, I could fall at terminal velocity and live.
Once you hit a critical
I'm a squirrel.
hit point level, your threat at falling from atmosphere is either suffocation or burning up on reentry, not the actual impact.
The actual impact,
The actual impact is very survivable. It's the fire damage you take all the way down from friction.
And I guess that just assumes that like a 0 level character, if that even exists for us in 5e, has 1 to 6 hit points. So of course,
human commoner has a D4. So
a D4. Yeah, so of course you couldn't survive, that normally. But you guys are different.
Us mere mortals.
What you do note after a period of time, though, Jacob, into the second day, that the various roadways that were modified by them and them, rearranging these, clay and stone and chitin materials stops. That they haven't developed that kind of stuff that far out. But in that first day, there definitely was. And then by the end of that second day, there's no more places where a tunnel was born just straight through a rock. That everything from like the very end of that second day and into the third day is natural stone passageways. They might have been widened a little bit, but you can just see their natural stone the whole way. And you do see the evidence that they've been traveled a lot. That there's those wear marks all through them that would indicate how much activity. But then the further and further out you go, there's just less and less and less activity.
Well, it makes sense that they're expending resources in the major thoroughfares to essentially cut corners and shorten travel time.
And you also note, too, that, and this is mostly, I think, Jacob noticing this, that the various lichens you've seen that either you can burn or you could eat or could be used for some material, that it seems that they're being like harvested, maybe even replanted on walls that were closer to the city.
Mm-hmm.
The further out you go, it's as though they're being harvested and just used up, that nobody's doing anything to try to extend that resource out here, at least not yet. And that might be what these satellite locations are all about. But it does look like the things are getting into that. And then there's some places where there's suddenly a huge excavation that the tunnel isn't just tunnelways, but it goes into a much larger cave. And you can tell just by the stonework on either side, and you'd see that too, Boris, that they had some sort of resource here. And so it was like a mining operation, kind of underground strip mining, that they would take whatever
I wonder if
they
they've
could
been
out
taking
of it.
like clay and whatnot to mix with chitin to make buildings.
Have we seen anything like in the way of like rudimentary vehicles for them to transport larger masses or like containers in some way? Because I think back to specifically they use the term shipment when the guy was talking about the next amount of stuff coming in from the surface area. Like it seems to me like, do I see anything that would indicate like tracks or like wheel marks from something being...
You've seen two different things, and it's not been too prominent, especially closer to the city. One's almost like a travois that would be like mounted onto a drone, and it could pull behind it and drag more stuff. And the other one would be that if you
That's
had
a sled for people who don't know that.
the other would be that if you were to put that same like structure, that pull structure from that sled-like travois that's just dragging behind, usually like a horse, this would be mounted on a second drone, and then you could pack stuff between those two drones and they could double that load. But it seems like beyond that, it'd be too difficult to have a wheeled something, because sometimes it suddenly jumps up like 2 feet up a vertical wall and the tunnel continues.
Yeah, if drones are your wheels, you can climb.
Yeah. So you couldn't have
terrain vehicles.
You couldn't have any more of a train than probably 2, where again you're bottoming out, it can't make a turn and that kind of stuff. So a shipment at best would be this double drone carrier.
Okay.
But probably nothing beyond that. And you'll see marks of that.
Well, probably caravans of double drone carriers.
That makes sense. Yeah,
You know,
a
it's an
series of them.
increasing number as opposed to.
It has some weird like gyroscopic way of affixing it to where the drones decide to walk on the ceiling, the actual load stays level. They're very advanced down here.
Yeah, it's called rope.
So, well, and they do have
Tie downs.
some magical ability, but it's toward about the middle of that third day, Jacob, that you notice a gouge along one of the walls that just catches your attention. That you've been seeing how they're polished, they're worn. This
I
looks like
expect
it's a
the gouge.
little more. Well, it just stands out where it is in one of the spots that have been polished around a corner. That there's this big dig that just runs into it. Go ahead and do your tracking survival.
Apparently, you do inspect the gouge.
Yeah, 30.
Nice.
It matches perfectly one of those forward mandibles of an Umber Hulk. What you remember from when you saw those things in. It looks like it's the same, with the impact. You could picture that if an Umber Hulk came around this corner and didn't have quite enough room to maneuver the way that a Inurriak drone would, that it could have caught one of those mandibles right there on that and just knock the corner right off that piece of stone.
Do I get an idea of like how old this this kind of thing is?
Yeah, with that roll you made, you would say it's been fairly recent. You know,
okay.
like, it wasn't a break that's even had maybe a year's time to be worn and polished smooth. There's no polish to it.
I mean, do I think as recent as like this exact attack that they're experiencing right now, or still like this predates that even?
If it predated it, it probably wouldn't have been more than maybe a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Because there'd be still even the beginnings of that evidence of polishing as Inurriak were moving. And I didn't even say it, that in the first 2 days, you'd see Inurriak moving around closer to the city. But once you got like about halfway through that second day, about where their own construction stuff stopped, that you stopped seeing the Inurriak out here.
Okay.
And it could even be that they've said, don't go that way until we find out what's going on. So
Makes sense.
Nothing's been going out in that direction.
Yeah, you said this was kind of at an intersection or just around a turn?
I was on a turn, but past one of the areas that have always been mined recently.
Okay.
As you proceed,
So wait a minute. So is there anything about it that you can tell what direction it was coming from?
That's what I'm saying. If it was like an intersection, then it would be like, I feel like it could have gone from a different way, but I think it's just like it coming around the same turn that we just made.
I just wonder, like, is it something that was heading towards this outpost we're heading towards,
Oh, that's
or
fair.
something that was
Is it traveling
moving
in our
away?
direction or
How does
traveling
it look
against
Is it
Yeah.
ahead of us, or yeah?
it looks like it was actually probably coming toward you at whatever point that was.
Okay.
So and obviously the city is still or this outpost is still maybe a half a day's journey before you. That if they did get to that, if they overwhelmed it or if they bypassed it, they could have gone to a certain point just to scout, and you've not passed any since. It's been the first evidence of anything Umber Hulk like that you've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, but that means that they're closer to the city than what they thought, because they were worried about them at this
'cause
outpost, and
the
the
outpost is
outpost
still
is a
another
few
day
days away.
No,
One
the
more day?
outpost's half a day away.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
outpost is still a half a day away. So they were worried about them being an outpost, but they actually are actually closer than what they thought.
Well, no, it's, I mean,
They're,
don't know
they're still in
how-
the same vicinity. If they were within like a day of the city, yeah, that'd be a major concern. But within half a day of the outpost, that's fairly near to the
because we've
outpost.
been walking for 3 or 4 days?
About
3?
2.5. You're into
2.5?
the third day
okay,
right
so
now.
the third
Yeah.
day will be at the outpost.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
You have one D10 mixed in with all your D8s, and I noticed it, and now it's bugging me. Just,
Thanks.
I wonder where your D8 went.
I don't know, but I just when I noticed it, I'm like, wait a second, that's wrong.
Roll a
The
D8.
9 was facing me. I'm like, that shouldn't be there.
Roll a D8. What'd you get? 10.
Yeah.
Yay!
Nice. Well done.
That throne bonus, man.
You're right.
Now, as you move around that corner and just further down in that direction, it's probably another hour or so, that you do note that there are other abrasions in the walls, and those look like they would match. And again, we'll keep that 30 roll you made.
I like that.
Claw marks of the same. So it looks like whatever they would do, and again, we'll keep that 30. It'd probably be propelling them like as fast as they could go. Reaching forward in narrow spaces, grabbing a hold of the wall and pulling themselves forward, almost to the point if they started to dig and were going right through, cracks in the rock or digging through some looser aggregate, they could just burrow right into the stuff. But you do see the evidence of where they have been moving through this tunnel.
Interesting. So I point that out as we continue walking.
Yeah, that is interesting. And at speed, too, they're moving through this tunnel. Very interesting.
And then at about the terminus of a 3-day period, that it does seem as though the construction that gives you evidence that there are Inurriak-like, buildings around. You're starting to see that again, like different unusual aberrations in the walls or in the floors to make it, more efficient, have been filled in with their patchwork and their clay work and their chitin. And then it opens up into a larger cavern, and then you get into this area where it's obviously a small town, like a small Inurriak town.
Did they tell us how they got word about this? Or did they get like a nonverbal word, or did a drone
Well, it
send a
implied
message?
survivors.
Yeah.
That they were getting descriptions of stuff there. So they might have heard about it, maybe sent a scouting party and then had the scouts come back.
Do any of you ask any of the...
Yeah, no, I'll ask just
yes?
to get the idea.
Yeah, so Shatask says yes, that it was drones carrying the scent with them, and that implies that it is the Umber Hulk. And there was one survivor that came a day later, who was a soldier, but of course he had to be reused.
That's such a weird term.
So we're at the outskirts of this outpost now.
Well, the outskirts, it's not that big. You think the whole place maybe could have like 40 Inurriak in it. It's a pretty small place. Also, it's a larger cave, but you can see where they made their houses into it, and they're roughly conical the way they do their cities.
Yeah.
But it's almost like if a kid was trying to do the same thing out of cardboard boxes. It's kind of the impression of how this whole thing's put together.
Do we see anything moving?
No, not at this point.
No indications of a current ongoing skirmish.
No, but
Do we see any indications of that of something that would match the hammer damage?
I think they were trying to imply not so much the hammer, but the energy I wield.
That's what I meant. I meant it would match
The
that
radiant,
look.
yeah.
Well, as you're moving forward and you're looking at it, you can tell that there was some sort of a fight here. And I think the first stuff you would get is you like crunch over bits and crunch over that. The Inurriak keep Jatakden really clean.
Yeah.
You're just walking on like they're pavements and there's not any bits of anything. And you notice when you like are moving, you kind of crunch on something, crunch, and you look down, you're pretty sure that it's little pieces of carapace. That it might actually be like, if something was severed, but then the rest of that leg was picked up, or something was shattered, and there's bits of whatever, parts of their exoskeleton were being ground under, that you find those pieces, here and hereabouts, but no actual bodies. But then on one of the buildings, and it looks like it might be a main gathering building, because you can see, and you can read it, Boris, there is a plaque up at the top of it that says that it's owned by the city of Shatakdan. And it's impressed in there, and under it you can see, along with Gagin Drog and Krenach Rogan, you can see there's other tiles that indicate that other families have, their clans have their claim on this beneath the name of the city, and there is a massive like scorch that runs right across the doorway to that thing, as though some kind of an energy blast hit it right there.
Interesting, the signs present that implies other things that can read in Inurriak, which would immediately presume another Inurriak city-state somewhere in the vicinity.
It's like a diplomatic outpost kind of thing.
I think it's a resource extraction point. That this is either a mining community or a farming community and something to that effect.
Right.
I'm sure we could ask Shatask about its purpose, but
So I'm going to examine.
Scorch mark.
Yeah, I'm going to examine the scorch mark.
I will too.
Okay, so I guess Arcana for you, Zelen, and religion for you, Boris.
You got it.
What are you doing, Jacob, while they're doing their examination?
I don't know. Can I use my perception
14
on it?
Arcana.
Well, you can use perception in the area.
Yeah.
You can see that the other soldiers, though there's always two that stay close to Krisk, and then, of course, Iskanthovit stay near Shatask. They're letting you do your thing. They're getting you here, and you can imagine potentially trying to gauge your thoughts or guard your thoughts from maybe other households if someone sent someone here as well. But they fanned out just guarding the area, and they're letting you do your stuff. What are those numbers again?
14.
16.
All right, so a couple of things. Let me find my spot on my thing again. That it is like your smite, but it's not like smite. But you do get that it's an impact of radiant damage, that there's something they have. And with your examination of it, there isn't like a mark where a sword hit it or an arrow or a hammer, that it seems to be radiant damage just unto itself. Like it's its own force.
Like some kind of beam.
Right, like it's
Yeah.
an Eldritch Blast or a lightning bolt or something like that. But there's nothing else that goes with it. But
Right.
something went like, and
Right.
and hit it with radiant damage.
Huh.
Honestly, my first thought is like moonbeam, because that's
Right. Yeah. So, what are the drones doing with the bits and bobs that are laying around on the ground? Are they gathering
They
them
are.
up? Are they?
They're policing it up and gathering little bits up
interesting.
from wherever it is.
But no bodies. That's. So, would the Umber Hulks have taken the bodies?
Shatask. Did the drones and the soldier that returned from here have bodies with them, or did they return alone?
They returned alone.
Well, then either predators in the area, and Jacob, you'd be the one to tell us about that, or yes, the Umber Hulks did take them.
My
Yeah.
perception was a 17, unless you want a survival now for tracks.
You are noting that there is the evidence of like large clawed feet that would have to be Umber Hulk that have also moved in this area. That as they're like pressing forward and running, all that pressure that they'd gouge right into the floor of this stuff, and so you can see Umber Hulk tracks that are here during part of the skirmish. And there would be residuals where you can tell that things are being dragged around, lifted around, maybe things kind of rend open. You don't know. They could snack on a particular organ of the Inurriak. We just don't.
Yeah,
just
but
don't
we're
know
not
about it.
seeing any Inurriak.
But but not their
if they
actual.
Right.
the Inurriak heart, there'd still be the rest
rest
of the
of-
Inurriak lying
Right.
around.
So unless they snack on the whole thing or bring it back for their own repurposing,
Shatask, have you seen the aftermath of Umber Hulk attacks previously? Does this look similar or the same? Do they attack looking for something, or do they attack for the Inurriak themselves?
they are after resources, as is everyone here in the world. But I've never been to an Umber Hulk attack. I didn't have the skill and the ability to be sent to a location like that.
Okay.
Expanding on that idea about the dragging of bodies, can I get an idea as far as where it seems like all of the Umber Hulks after the battle left, and can I see the hints, the clues that anything like Inurriak bodies were dragged away?
So yeah, go ahead and did you already roll a tracking survival mode?
Not a survival, no.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that.
13.
Yeah, as you're looking to see where things were gathered, it looks like all these bodies were stacked in one place, and maybe other stuff of value, whatever they take as value, resource, and then there's multiple tunnels that come into this area, and you can see there's evidence that there's been a lot of like harvesting. There's storage areas that they all took them down one particular tunnelway that proceeds in a direction that just continues. As far as you can tell, just to pick a cardinal direction, you call it northwest, from, a point from the city. You've been traveling northwest from the city for a time. And yeah, they're all being taken in that direction.
Okay.
Weird.
How many buildings are in this village?
There's about 40 buildings, but it also looks like some of them are like storage areas where they'd actually take material and stack it up, almost like if you were to see like at a the landscaping places where there's like bins, like big,
Sure,
you could
yeah.
drive a loader into, that
Right.
there's stuff that was stacked and just piled in that too.
If I can narrow it down to like a single point where I felt like they were coming in and out of, I want to go ahead and cast alarm just so I can get any sort of an inkling whenever something comes down this
yeah,
area.
you feel very strong about that one. And the way that's set up right there too, that tunnel way looks as though it might have been being tunneled out for some time and then the last little bit forced open. So it might have been that the Umber Hulks were making their own tunnel or were using some other tunnel, took a bend out of a tunnel and came through a spot that wasn't guarded. Who's to say? But there was some kind of a blast of stone that came through this area.
Okay.
I'm going to direct Iskin Thovit off guard duty and to start searching buildings. And then I too will search buildings looking. I think the most unusual would be a building that doesn't look disturbed, but just for anything out of place.
Okay. Let's see. Everything's out of place. The place is completely disturbed and it's been wrecked there. I would think you'd roll that as maybe a perception for you. I guess perception, Jacob, or survival if you're looking around to take, similar
Yeah.
thoughts. That,
Nice.
24.
19.
yeah, you guys would think that just judging by how this stuff looks, that this battle probably took place, a day and a half ago. That it's been fairly recent since this It doesn't have any of the, I don't know, detritus that just forms in these places when they've been left alone for a period of time. So you could believe it's been a very, very recent battle. But, and what was yours, David? 21?
24.
But David, you think that there might have been a battle that took place maybe 5 days prior to that.
Right. That's what the timeline sounds like, because a survivor came, we traveled here. So that's interesting. So they've attacked it twice.
At least.
I'm going to cast locate animals or plants looking for Umber Hulks. It'll tell me how many there are, and I'll learn the direction and distance to the closest creature within 5 miles.
Okay, within 5?
Beast or plant,
Oh,
not Umber
yes,
Hulks.
you're not going to get Umber Hulks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Umber Hulks are monstrosities.
Jeez.
Dang it,
Doesn't exist
Victor
on this
not
planet.
being on our side.
I'm
No,
on
it's
the
just
rules side.
Accurate rules. I appreciate that.
All right, are Umber Hulks an aberration, celestial, dragon, elemental,
No.
fae, fiend, or undead?
They're monstrosities.
Well, I can't help either.
Yeah, me neither.
Not that primeval awareness is even good in the first place.
So each building that we go to looks like it's been hit. They were very thorough with it.
Methodical and being sacked, right? And it also looks as though that they had done what seems to be their modus operandi for the Inurriak, and that is that they were sealing themselves up into buildings when they're being completely overwhelmed,
Right.
and then just through a portion
And
of
then
the
the Umber
wall,
Hulks would punch in.
just force right through it and just knock their own.
So this is truly as close to a ruined, burnt-out village as we can get without having a burnable
without
village.
fire, yeah.
Right.
But they were definitely overwhelmed. So whatever they did, whatever their numbers were, was enough to drive back whatever kind of a band there was of these Umber Hulks before.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could point figures at Cajina because their primary building is untouched or something like that.
No, nothing like
doesn't
that.
seem like
Right.
city people were partnering with these outsiders.
And
Right.
all the resources were taken. So anything, if they had been gathering stacks of moss to move back to the city, any resource that they had been gathering, that's also gone.
Right. The majority of it. There's some left. It looks like they completely cleaned out those like building, those bin storage buildings. And that's where the drones right now are taking bits of things that they're finding. And either they've been directed by Krisk or they're just doing it on their own. But they're neatening those areas back up again and making sure that resource is being contained. But that's part of what you've seen, Jacob, that resources being taken, parts to it dropped, various plants that would grow different, crystal structures, certain kinds of clays, that not all of it was there, but has been, some dropped along the way as they went. But the vast majority of the resource seems to have been taken.
Makes sense for raiders that they couldn't take everything, but they
Right.
took as much as they could.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Well, I
All
think
right.
They didn't have the sleds
Yeah,
or the trebuchet, whatever you call them.
trebuchets,
Yeah, Travoy.
Travoy.
Trevanians.
Isk, I'm sure we've come through Shatask, but Isk is talking in your direction. But of course, you can't talk without thinking it.
Yeah.
And then I have to think of the name again. Asud. Asud says to you that he says, the cave is secure. There's nothing else here.
Good.
And then goes off to guard one of those different entrance points.
So then the question now seems, do we call it a night here? Or do we try and move a little further in pursuit before setting up camp?
I would say call it a night here.
Yeah, because we're already at the end of the third day just to get here.
Pick
right?
a building and all. And,
Right.
The most secure building that we can all fit in. And take watch shifts, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't even think we need to do watch shifts because the ants don't need to sleep.
It would be interesting to see
No,
if
the Inurriaks
whatever.
don't need to sleep.
it'd be interesting to see if our movement here calls them back. That would be
Yeah.
So probably the strongest buildings that there are is one that must have been initially overwhelmed before they get their defenses in place. Because there's no big Umber Hulk-sized holes knocked through it. It's actually the doorways themselves.
Right.
So, Jacob, do you set up any of your alarms like outside the entrance to this building or just to the main tunnel? Do you think that they'd be coming from where the initial attack must have happened?
If I see any indication that would indicate that they would be coming from additional directions, like if I feel like there's equally likely areas they could be coming from, then I'll set up a few more alarms just to have them, especially if we're gonna get a rest.
Yeah, well, there's lots of tunnels.
I And additionally, I don't think Usud needs to sleep at all.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Well, he's a magical spirit from heaven. And if you want a more solid ruling than that, since he's, stat-wise an imp, I googled "Do imps sleep 5e?" and which on the Imp Forgotten Realms wiki, although they did not require sleep, so that looks like a no.
Yeah.
Imps occasionally rested in the prime material in their animal forms to take a break from their constant duties. So he is capable of sleeping, but does not require sleep.
Wow. Yeah, that's so you have a guard always on duty.
Yeah,
Very
Usud
nice.
keeps watch, and I don't tell anybody about it
All right.
because I don't know. I want the Inurriaks to feel safe too.
It looks like Chris, once you guys are betting yourselves down, that Chris has directed a bunch of the drones to, one, block off the openings that are still in this building, and then two, enlarging the opening, apparently, so a larger creature could go through the opening, but then makes what is tantamount to like a tunnel, like an inverted igloo entrance, so that if something does just come through the tube, it just can't like push in and then stand right up, inside the wall, but actually would be standing up a little further into the room, which could give it more of an exposed position. So they're setting it up, maybe a tactic they've used with Umber Hulks before.
Fair enough.
And then once that's set, they block off the end to it, but with a thinner layer of their wall material. So now you're pretty much closed in. And then they bed down as well.
I'm glad I use a hammer and not like a sword.
I always have the exit door bar with me wherever I go.
I cast Summon Hole in the Wall.
I do have rock shape, so
Stone shape?
Yeah.
That too.
yeah, rock, stone, whatever.
All right, so there are no encounters overnight. We'll call
Aw.
it overnight. And then
There might have been, and they just all stayed outside.
the next morning, the block to the opening, like the inverted Eskimo opening, is cleared within just moments. And as people are going out, give me just a walking order. Who exits the place first?
Boris.
All right. So, Boris, when you get out, you hear movement that's to your right-hand side that would be in the direction of where a lot of the storage bins are and just other empty buildings.
Alert!
And as you do that, there's a whole bunch of movement scampering, and you can see it all around, like along the walls, into cracks, disappearing almost immediately, that there were a bunch of centipedes, maybe a couple feet, centipedes, a couple feet long. They were scurrying in all directions, probably getting into whatever resources were open and left over, just sitting out.
Okay.
And then they disappeared.
I
very
passed
quickly
the
into
false alarm call and quietly wonder if I've stumbled across the second-class citizens of Inurriak culture. He goes, who knows? This is kind of a giant sentient bug-heavy area. Raid, where you at?
And so if you get something to eat, or if you don't, it's a matter of, do you head back and report, or do you proceed on and try
Let's
to find out?
press forward. As I recall, our instructions were to locate, decimate, recover.
Yeah, and also find out what is it. Make sure that it is something that's like that thing from your weapon, and if able to disable it, bring it back.
The decimate and recover part of that.
So let's just pick the pathway that seemed like it was the heaviest traveled for their retreat. When
Right.
Right, yeah,
They don't
which
demolish this place.
which is really pretty obvious, like the amount of stuff they're taking with them, and maybe even hurting Inurriak before them. Whether it's
Oh, that's
drones,
interesting.
or if it was Jacob. Once you get maybe just good 500 feet down this tunnelway, go ahead and roll tracking.
16?
Yes, you were quite sure that there was a Inurriak with them moving along with the group, that they were
Oh.
being forced in this direction.
Huh.
And you still find like stuff being dropped, little bits of this, little bits of that. And like, again, without any direction, the drones can be picking the stuff up and, stowing it with the rest of their gear, cleaning up the trail as they go.
Street sweepers?
Why would they be moving them along? I mean, can they communicate with them and give them orders, or if they just like
Livestock.
exactly livestock, right?
Or
yeah.
Beasts of burden?
Or if this is just Umber Hulks, honing a newfound power, because we don't know what they're using yet.
Right.
Might be test subjects.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to send Jast ahead in the tunnel just just to have her fly ahead of us to report back on what she sees.
Okay, so then Josh flies out and very quickly comes right back. And you've only been on the trail for maybe like about a half an hour. Comes right back and says there are bodies ahead. It communicates to you there are bodies ahead.
Okay.
And as you come up into that area, you can see like the lumps that are up there. There's definitely 3 Inurriaks were deposited here.
And how do they look? Have they been burnt? Are they experimentals?
No,
Missing limbs, just broken.
These have had their main carapace shattered, and it looks as though the Umber Hulks ate their internal organs. So this might have been a campsite.
Yeah,
Got
raw
it.
crab.
And they had food on the way.
Okay.
Well, that's leaning towards livestock theory.
Yeah, it definitely is. Anything else we can see in this campsite? Any other?
What other kind of examinations would you want to do?
Can we tell how many there are? Anything? Any information that we can figure out?
Well,
Are there indicators of dead Umber Hulks?
Yeah, if you go ahead and the initial answer to that would just be no. So far, there have been no dead Umber Hulks. But do a tracking, Jacob.
Yep.
And let me know the first one. Modified, 19. And then do a second one as though you're rolling for advantage for me.
9.
Okay,
no, wait. 14, sorry.
Okay, so Jacob, you are positive that there have been no dead Umber Hulks along this way. Do you think there are more Inurriak with them that left this point? But you also don't think that any of the Umber Hulks at this point were even wounded. That there's not the signs of like blood and whatnot.
Oh, no.
Whatever they might ooze out of themselves. So either they have managed to heal themselves, bandage themselves, reseal their carapaces, but they seem to be moving fairly undamaged.
Do the bodies have any ribbons, any
Let's
markings
fix
on them,
that.
or are they drone bodies?
Drones and soldiers at this point. Yeah. You also note too that I think with that you said 14 was it or 16?
The better one was a 19.
19. That you think you're tracking a fairly small group, like maybe a half dozen of them.
Oh, we can take them.
A half dozen Umber Hulks. That's a lot of Umber Hulking.
That's 2 each.
That's a lot
Okay,
of.
that's 2 each, neglecting the fact that we've got 8 drones, 2 adepts, and 6 soldiers.
That's like a third of one each.
Still seems like a lot. I mean, we took down a whole city with 2 or 3 of them.
Okay, we took down 2 towers with 6 of them.
No, whole city.
We sound much stronger that way.
All right.
A bunch of Umber Hulks. We took down a whole city. We also have 3 gorillas.
I'm going to send Jast out again.
All right, so as you guys travel, you come upon periodically.
Yeah. How before we get too far, like how recent do we think that this kind of area was left? Do we feel like we're gaining on them, or do we feel like the time between us is pretty constant from when we left?
Probably a constant.
Okay.
That you think that the most recent attack might have been like a day and a half ago, and this all seems to have been about a day and a half ago.
Okay.
So it's sticking to that. But as Jasper flies out periodically and flies back again, Zelen, that there are bodies periodically along the way.
Snacks.
Well, yes, but
Or just the injured.
the next group look as though that they had been actually, there's like severe damage to them, and it looks like something hit it with a lightning bolt.
Ew,
That's
what?
good.
They're all dead, I'm assuming.
Yes, and one of them was at least an adept, and it has the ribbons to indicate that it
Oh,
was.
wow.
So maybe something else happened in here. Jacob, rolling for tracking.
30.
Wow. It looks as though there was a skirmish here, that maybe whatever Inurriaks in their group maybe tried a power move to take over, to get away something, and there was a real fight in this spot. And there are 5 bodies of Inurriak right here. They don't look particularly snacked on, but that one that was the adept, probably the leader of them, the only sister present, got hit by some kind of a force of power.
Okay. I mean, honestly, if we're gaining time on them, this would have slowed them down a bit. I think we just keep on moving.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's catch up to them.
All right. So you guys travel, and
Well, and they might be in a weakened state now after this fight.
True.
Yeah.
you travel for the better part of 7 hours.
Oh.
It's been most of this day's travel. And as you proceed down this particular tunnel, there haven't been any breaks in it for some time, but you can still see the passage of Umber Hulk moving through this area. it leads to.
Does it feel like it's getting more recent, these tracks that I'm seeing?
It still seems pretty relative to the same time frame.
Okay.
Like, a day ago at least that, when they moved through this area. But it leads to simply a dead end.
Weird.
Shenanigans.
Dead end, like they caused a cave in, or just they phased into a wall and they were actually earth elementals the whole time.
I guess you need to do examinations to determine what that would be exactly. But
Arcana?
it doesn't look as though it's been caved in.
Yeah, the difference being, is there a cave in, or does a footprint stop in the wall?
Actually, neither. There is no footprint that stops in the wall, but there's also no cave in.
I put my hand right up against this wall that's right there. Does it just pass right through it? Is it illusionary?
There is no illusion.
Illusory?
It is not illusory. There's your hand does not pass through it, but hits the flat stone.
Is the dirt soft enough that I could dig through it if I wanted to?
No, it's rock.
Damn it.
But the steps go right up to this wall.
Yes.
So I'm
no
gonna
about face, nothing.
Correct.
I'm gonna cast Stone Shape and create a space in this wall that we can then pop one of our eyes. Let me make sure I have my eyes set up. Send my eye through and peek around on if I can.
Oh, so rather than making a doorway, you're just making like a hole that just scoots
make a
through
little
it as long
hole.
as it could possibly be?
So I can.
That'll work.
Or maybe
Here's our nice 10-foot-long mail slot.
maybe I'll send Jast through.
Would you want to send Jast, or you want to send Usud?
Usud,
Usud
yeah.
can be invisible.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let's send Usud through. So that's my intention.
All right. So I would think that since I know what thickness we're looking at, that the stone shaping you can do, and it's a very, it's not detailed work to do that kind of stone shaping. You do make this hole big enough, I guess, kind of like a small dog or a cat could go through, I guess, right? For a suit size.
Yeah, it's a tiny.
As long as the wall is less than 5 feet thick.
Right. So, and then once a suit, when the hole is opened up, and then a suit goes into it and can directly, with telepathy, communicate what.
Within 100 feet, I sense what it senses as long as it's within a mile of me.
Okay, yeah. So, no problem with that. So you're sensing it too. Just inside, there's a machine. There's some kind of mechanism. And as a suit, perceives it, looks over it, you think it's a giant levering mechanism, as though if the right thing were triggered, that this whole thing could maybe swing.
Are you saying this out loud?
Big natural secret
Immediately
door.
start looking for a lever for a secret door.
Okay, yeah,
so-
but don't grab anything. If you squish my
no.
madrigal, I squish you.
Yeah, roll as a survival.
For a secret door or perception?
Perception. Yeah, let's
it's the exact same bonus.
Yeah.
19.
For what were you doing? Survival or perception?
Perception.
You don't see where the trigger is.
Okay, this is very powerful. Can I look around the sides and see if I can find a seam? Just like knowing now that we believe it is a secret door, is there any sort of indication that tells me which direction it would be opening?
I would think that'd be the same thing, wouldn't it? You're looking over all that. You've already done that.
Since there's a hole in the wall, do I feel like I could actually reach my arm in there and feel around and actually disengage it from the inside?
No, you probably wouldn't want to reach through that. No, I like the seam idea. Go ahead and go for that.
Okay.
And
26.
you do note the seam.
Okay.
That you can tell where this unusually, this rock that's right in front of you that looks like it's just like an area of rock where the edges of a seam go through. There's no, obviously there's a crack like in drywall or something like that because of the convolutions in the stone. You wouldn't have noticed it otherwise unless you were definitely looking for it. But you can tell where the whole thing's on a surround.
Okay.
The whole thing's on, it could be either extended toward you or pulled back against it.
Pointing that out, do you guys feel like you want to brute force it, or
Is Usud through?
A suit is through, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Can Usud trigger the door from that side?
Yes, so that on the inside of that, I guess, would that be your perception or a suit's perception inside there?
is the lever also hidden on that side?
Let me just find out how it works for you.
Usud is not proficient in perception, so I guess that's just a wisdom check. His vision is not impeded by magical darkness.
Okay.
Looking for anything else relevant. Doesn't look like it.
Because there is a lever, it's not hidden, but it's a matter of can you tell among the machinery what the thing would be? So my thought was,
Well, he's got an intelligence of 11.
yeah, that I thought either a perception or a wisdom roll with advantage to see if you can just tell which thing you hit
Which
to make
lever?
it do a thing.
Have a 19.
And with that hit, with that clunk on that from that side, and because it's not a hidden thing, does he just go ahead and do it?
I take my hand out of the door.
No, he wouldn't
He
immediately.
communicates. He believes he's found the thing
Yeah,
that will actually
I
push
relay
the
that.
stone toward you.
Oh.
It's going to open towards us. Or are we ready to breach?
Yeah.
What's Usud see on the other side? You never said.
More of a tunnel that moves in a direction, and that would be perception on Asud's part again to see what other sensory things you're getting from beyond where that tunnel hallway is.
What else he might be able to hear? Or...
Yeah.
With my 26.
16.
He believes that there are sounds coming from something, almost like a grunt and a click, but muffled, and maybe another, like around a corner, maybe 50 feet away, 60 feet away.
I relay that.
Before he flicks it open, can I get one more check to check for traps on the door?
Yes.
23.
You are positive there's no traps.
Okay.
Yeah, I say
So,
open it. Let's
I
go.
pull us back
Let's
to
go.
wherever the footsteps stop to know that the door's not going to swing on top of us. And
Right.
Open it.
Okay, so when he does that, there's a counterweighted system on the inside, and this massive pinion is just starting to push the whole thing forward from behind where it's coming out from. So a lot of that hallway space inside where Sood is the mechanism itself, and it goes out to a point, maybe making a hole that's about 6 feet wide, around different edges, and then it comes to a stop.
Okay. Usud returns to my shoulder,
Okay.
and I guess I'll take point.
Yeah.
All right, so stepping in through there, do you leave it open behind you, or do you
Yes.
close it up again? All right, so
And I'm assuming the Inurriak party is coming in with us.
I would,
Yeah.
everybody comes in at the same time.
yeah, suddenly they get the heebie-jeebies and don't want to
Yeah.
be.
Oh, come on, yeah, we're like, we'll wait out here, guys.
the question is, probably should have been, what light do we have active right now? Because Usud and I don't need light.
Yeah,
Um,
I can do dark vision.
I can do dark vision.
So there's probably no light right now. If everybody's
Okay,
moving
yeah.
that well
So
with it,
if you guys have a spell slot expended to do dark vision, then
Yep.
which honestly I think makes the most sense because then we can proceed apace without giving our position away.
Let's just
Agreed.
get this done within the next 8 hours. Otherwise, I have to use another spell slot.
that as you move,
Hour now, probably.
Yeah.
so again, I think you said leaving the thing open behind you.
Correct.
Yeah.
That as you're orienting yourself in the hallway that is fairly wide with all this mechanism in it, but you're off to one side. And as you take even a couple of steps forward, that sound happens again, and you do think that just immediately around to the left, by the air, you think things live here. There's going to be a larger cave by how the air moves, but there's definitely things that are alive just around this corner.
So I'm going to send Jast ahead. What does she see?
And Jast is in what state right now?
She's a bat.
Alabama. Oh.
Oh, so yeah, just flutters up in that direction, and in that next area are Umber Hulks, and it looks like the bodies of a lot of Inurriak
Okay.
and other tunnelways breaking out of it, but this seems to be like their location point, like their advanced.
How many Umber Hulks?
5.
So 5 Umber Hulks. Are any of them holding anything, wearing anything that's glowing?
When it comes to gear, it looks like they were made for quick travel. They don't have a lot of stuff on them.
Right. And it looks like they killed their hostages at
It
this
does,
point.
or have been eating them. But it also looks as
Yeah,
though
I think hostage is too grand a term.
Yeah.
in the clutter of stuff that's in here, because it looks it's been kind of a lair space for a longer period of time than when these sorties and skirmishes have happened. There is something that I'm not sure that how Shatask would qualify it, but it would be
how
Task or
Jast?
Jast?
Jast. I'm sorry, how Jast would qualify it, but it would come to your brain as though it was something that a wizard would have. But it's clunky, it's big, and it's a massive thing. It'd be like seeing like a rocket launcher that goes over somebody's shoulder.
Okay.
It doesn't look the way that it's supposed to.
So I'm going to describe that
Do
they
you
got.
want to trade senses with Jast and get a more precise view of it?
Would that be helpful? So I can describe it better?
I think so.
If you're not going to, I'm going to with Usud.
Yeah, I will. Okay.
As we're getting these descriptions, I'm just going, when we kill them, dibs.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, that's probably the thing.
Yeah, right?
And as all this is happening, all the Inurriak soldiers and Shatask, they're all kind of hunkered down. They brought their weapons up, that they're just like poised and ready to get into the middle of this
Yeah.
thing too. The drones are just standing like they don't really care what's happening whatsoever. But there is a real tension that's built up, right here in this spot. And it seems as though, even though you always think of like Shatask as being nominally the leader, that they're waiting for you guys to do whatever it is
Yeah.
in this,
Right.
this strike position. As you switch that, can you do an Arcana through that, or is it how does your
I don't know.
perceptions work?
You perceive through its senses.
Yeah, so I'd say yes. So
Okay.
go ahead and do an Arcana check. That
Ooh, 6.
that's the modified.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks constructed. It looks
Okay.
as though somebody that had knowledge, advanced knowledge of putting and shaping things together of various materials. And then if they've been ensorcelled, you just can't tell at this point right
Are there
now.
sigils and marks on the outside that would?
Not so directly as sigils that are on it, but you can tell that it wasn't a natural piece of stone or wood, that it's an amalgamation of materials. And it's big. You think it would take 2 of these things to pick it up.
Where is it?
It is it's resting on the ground, like up, like almost like stalk like, and one of them has a hand on it, and there's another one adjacent, another one of the Umber Hulks adjacent to it, and the 2 of them seem to be minding it, while the other ones are tearing through the carapace of an Inurriak as though they're getting whatever last bits of something they can out of it.
Okay.
How close are we to them?
Like once you're around that corner, you're about like 30 feet, like you're
Okay,
in
and
closing and striking
From the
distance.
corner?
What's that?
And how far are we from the corner?
Just like 5 feet back around it.
Okay. Yeah, so we could conceivably move into melee like now.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
You,
One
you could
move
almost
action.
directly, and it seems like that's what the other soldiers that are here are actually waiting on.
Yeah.
How
So-
big is this area that we're about to be fighting in? Is it just
Big enough.
It goes into a space. Yeah, it's fairly big. It isn't like they're in this little hovel that's like 10 by 10. It would be at least 50 by 50, and
Oh.
probably expands out from there. So
Nice.
it's definitely been their station to operate from.
Yeah, so then telepathically through Usud, are we ready to attack?
And you get a ping back from all the soldiers and the 2 sisters that they are ready.
Move out.
All right, so let's roll an it.
Oh my gosh. I've just been suck rolling today.
Don't worry, you still Zelland Boris.
What's your dex mod?
Um,
Well, what's your total, I guess, because that's what matters.
6.
Yeah, beats the crap out of my 4.
Oh no.
Your natural 3 and his natural 2. I was just watching that.
Oh, that's horrible. This is not good.
Well, we've got a surprise round, so the opening
Oh,
round.
we do?
I would assume, unless
I would think so too.
Oh, his notes. His notes. He's showing us his notes.
I was splitting my screen up, and I forgot that put it right up onto the big screen.
All right, I saw the bullet point that says kill Jacob, so I'm not exactly happy that I saw his notes.
Yeah, I'm more worried about the bullet point that said kill Victor.
I got a 15.
Okay, hang on. I've got I messed up all of my screens, so I've got to get them. Okay, here we go. All back to where I need them to be. All right. So, and I was looking for a dex mod. Yeah, I thought it was a +1.
Okay, +1. We know that much about these creatures.
Okay, so we're at Jacob at 15. All right, and there. And where are you, Boris?
Still at 4.
Okay. Zelen?
6.
All right.
I just
So
didn't think about doing better. Like,
as things are just as
I'm
everyone,
saving my high rolls for when they matter.
as things are like people are moving around this corner, as the whole party kind of lurches forward, and the numbers just dictate when you're actually going in this. It looks like Shatask, Thovit, and a couple of the drones are breaking to one side to engage one of these Umber Hulks that's to one periphery. And then it looks like Krisk and 2 other soldiers and a couple of drones are going to the next one. And then 2 more soldiers and the last 4 drones are heading to another one. And so the 2 that look as though they'd be not engaged are the 2 that are, as this is coming around the corner, are grabbing for that thing, whatever it is.
All right.
And it looks like if you're going to be engaging with something,
There's ours.
it's going to be those guys on that side over there. So we're not going to go through all the rolls and stuff and you keep this battle running too slowly with all the things the drones are doing, but just what you guys are doing, unless you're going to do some kind of a crazy Ivan and go, no, I go fight with Thovit right now. So however you want to split it, you guys just let me know.
I do want to, assuming, am I going first?
Yeah,
at 15?
Jacob, you are up.
So I do want to hold, just in case any of the drones, if anyone's moving faster than Zelen or Boris, I want to hold until they are engaging in combat with them, so that way I can be firing into that combat and then get my sneak attack damage because I'm not rolling with advantage at the moment.
Okay, got it.
So they don't have to be doing anything. I just want them present. I just want them up there, so that way when I do my thing, it happens.
Okay, yeah. So you're holding that moment, and you are seeing how it's playing out, and they're fanning in those directions. On 6, that's the next one down for this group because my guys that are on you are also at 6. They like raise this thing up. Oh wait. They're surprised. They don't get around. Yeah. So Zelen at 6.
At 6, I cast Wall of Stone on the thing that they're holding. It a non-magical wall of solid stone springs into existence at a point you choose. If the wall cuts through a creature's space, when it appears, the creature is pushed to one side of the wall. So I'm encasing the weapon they're using in like a box of stone, as thick and high as I can make it.
So is there any minimums to the size, or like you can arrange it any way you want to, or does it have to have length to it,
It
or
says
anchored at 1 point or 2 points or anything else?
the wall can have any shape you desire, though it can't occupy the same space as a creature or object, which is fine because I'm surrounding it. It doesn't need to be vertical or rest on a firm foundation. It must, however, merge with or be solidly supported by existing stone. The floor is stone.
So you're making an empty cylinder.
Yeah,
Yep.
just right around that whatever
Just
weapon
right
they're
around
reaching
that
for.
thing.
The only difficulty I have is that they're right at it.
But it says it pushes them aside.
Do they get a save to not get pushed aside?
Nope.
Push aside? They're just
It says if the wall cuts through a creature's space when it appears, the creature is pushed to one side of the wall, your choice.
You could put them in it with it.
If a creature would
No,
be
'cause then
surrounded
we
on
can't
all
kill them.
sides by the wall or the wall and another solid surface, that creature can make a dexterity saving throw. But I'm not surrounding
Since
them.
they're
I'm
not being
pushing them
enclosed,
outside
yeah.
of it.
So let me think for a second. Like 1, 2, 3.
That look on his face is like, I can't believe you broke it.
Yeah. So at 8 in 1 dimension, and then what's your total area for the wall you
It
can
says
do?
the wall is 6 inches thick and is composed of 10 10-foot by 10-foot panels.
Okay, so 1 and 10, 9. All right. Yeah. So just sizing this up, you know that you could go floor to ceiling.
Yep.
It could be anchored in both directions on that. That's within that range, and just doing about like 8 feet around to the total distance around for that
Yep.
is fairly reasonable. Yeah, I'd say that works. I get no saves whatsoever. It just
There was a question mark on the end of that, but he's like, yeah, no saves for you.
and those guys are pushed out of the space where that is. I'll just roll myself cardinal directions as to which way they go.
Have any of the
I love
drones
things
with
go
us?
sideways,
Yeah, right?
literally.
Have any of the drones closed that distance yet that I
They
could be?
literally go sideways. All right.
Have any of the drones closed the distance yet that I could take my shots on them?
Hang on 1 sec.
Or did everyone roll in its like Boris and Zelen?
You were the top of the round.
Okay.
The next highest was a 14. That was soldiers that were moving, and the drones were also at 6. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's a kind of party's like, well, I guess we can go fight.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's gonna be there.
So much for being ready.
Yeah, so there are soldiers up engaged with them.
Cool. All right. I'll take
They
my.
have taken their first hits.
I will take my shots on the Umber Hulks now.
All right.
First.
That was cool, Zelen. I didn't expect that. In no way thought or saw that coming.
Bonus action, casting Hunter's Mark on the Umber Hulk that I'm hitting, whichever one you want to call him.
We'll call him left.
Cool. Left does a 15 hit.
A 15 does not.
Oh, okay. And then second attack. How about a 30? 31.
Oh, 31. Yes, you hit. Yes, it hit and a handful.
All right. Have any of the drones hit it? Is it below 10 point maximum?
This one is not. I mean, you're choosing one of the ones that were the ones that just got pushed from
Gotcha.
the thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Sneak attack. Oh, I need another D8 now, or D6. Can I borrow that? Because
D6?
sneak attack now does. I got it.
Okay.
Now does an extra D6. Nice.
Ooh.
12, 15, 20, 27 points of damage.
Wow. Very good.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. So that was it. Y'all done? At 15?
Yeah, one hit missed.
Okay. So attacks are happening over there. That 6 happened. And then, okay, Boris at 4.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go right then. Bonus action to hex that one.
Okay.
It has disadvantage on. What do we do a lot of saving throws for?
What's your moonbeam? Like Constitution? You do a lot of Constitution, or is it dexterity based?
Constitution, I think.
Let's do Constitution then.
Okay.
So there's
con.
disadvantage on con saves, and I do an additional D6 necrotic to it.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit it with the old hammer
All right.
and crack this bug thing open.
Using any spells for smites?
Probably. Step one on that is to hit. See.
Ooh.
That's 14 versus armor class, which I think
Misses.
misses, yeah. And that's a 15 versus armor class, which I think misses.
Also misses.
Okay. This is the biggest armor class that we fought ever.
It's up there, not the biggest though. All right, then those guys. So their action would have been by this time to have like shot the. Oh, I forget this is a surprise round. Yeah, so nothing. Top of the round, Jacob.
I would have moved permanently to
yeah.
wherever I acted.
Yeah, you're at 4.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Zelen and these guys at 6. So
Or I guess I could argue that I'm still at the top because I said I readied my action specifically when a condition was met.
No,
yeah.
you're still up top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. All right.
15.
I will go. Attack number 1, 30. Attack number 2. Oh,
The other end.
14. All
You
right.
do run the gamut, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that 30 is a hit, so
That
it is
definitely
below
a
its
hit.
hit point maximum.
It is.
It is a bow. It is a. You're gonna get your. Oh no,
Yes.
and there's people within 5 feet of it. That's right. All right, 5, 9, 12, 16, 23 points of damage.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great hits. And it never looks like much damage when it's an arrow hit. It's like thunk, thunk. He's hardly hurt at all. He hurts on the inside.
Yeah. Just the arrow tip breaking off
That
and
was-
just pinging around on the
It
inside.
really ricochets inside it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The arrow goes in at, like 3 millimeters and it comes out at like 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zelen, what's your dexterity?
I know how shotguns work.
It's a number.
My dexterity is 16 plus 3.
Okay.
I mean, it's 19.
Yes,
No.
that is exactly what that means.
So I'm sorry. I was reading and you said dexterity is 13.
16.
Okay. You'll be going first. But I just want to reread this. So when a creature starts its turn within 30 feet of the Umber Hulk and is able to see the Umber Hulk's eyes, the Umber Hulk can magically force you to make a DC 15 charisma saving throw unless the Umber Hulk is incapacitated. So as
We're
you
working on that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
should have done
but-
that. Yeah, so
No, at the start of the Umber Hulk's turn. It hasn't had a turn yet.
it was
Yeah.
first turn.
but it's at 6 as well. So
Okay, it hasn't started its turn yet because Zelen's going first.
Because your dex is better. Good for you.
Okay, Zelen. Go ahead.
He was doing this nice mimicking thing of like having like the mandibles or whatever those things were that the ants do.
Okay, so I'm going to do Scorching Ray,
Ooh.
which is 3 rays.
I think you're actually hitting them, so you're
You
actually rolling
create
dice.
3 rays of fire and hurl them at targets within range. You can hurl them at one target or several. Make a ranged spell attack for each ray.
Yep, so you're
Okay.
rolling d20s and you're adding your spell attack modifier.
What's your spell attack modifier?
Spell attack modifier is
It's a number.
always forget this one. Oh, spell attack plus 11.
Ooh, wow.
Jeez.
So 24, 23, and 15.
All right, no one miss.
Okay, yeah. So 2 of them hit. You didn't say if you're attacking left or right.
Well, what I was
You can do one
thinking
each.
is to attack eyes. Do they all have 2 eyes or do they
Yeah,
all
we
have one
can't
eyes?
target a body part.
Oh,
that,
you can't?
Yeah.
Oh, then I'll attack right.
Okay.
How much damage do you do?
On a hit, the target takes 2d6 fire damage.
You want to do all of them at once because you got 2 hits.
Oh,
But the same colors go together for.
Yeah,
over
it's
there
right by the edge
behind
of the
your
table.
arm.
Why'd you pick it up? It was a 5. You could have kept it. It's a 6 now. Okay.
wow. 6, 6, 6, and 4.
Wow.
22 points of damage.
Holy crap.
Nice.
And aren't I immune to charm?
By Fae or elementals,
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
which
So that comment about them being elementals would really be coming in handy right now.
Mm.
I don't remember if you made that.
no,
Not a game or
no.
not? If they were like elementals the whole time, they phased into the wall.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
All right, so at 6 also, that Umber Hulk is attacking the Zelen. Did you move forward to do this, or you just stay back where you are? So that one is right there at Boris, so I don't think it would
They're
move
both
forward.
at me.
Yeah, so they're kind of push either side of that column. So that other one will be closing. So at 6, that one's going to move 30 feet forward and engage, and I'm just going to do a 50-50. 1, 2,
Is it moving through my reach?
No, it's on the other side of that column wall she just made. So 1, 2, 3, it's Zelen. 4, 5, 6, it's Jacob.
Rude.
Jacob.
Rude.
Armor class.
20.
Jesus. Okay, come on. Let's roll.
Are you allowed to say you shut your eyes? Is it because you look at them that it does something? Like once you cast your spell, can you shut your eyes?
Okay, so first claw attack on you, Jacob.
Okay.
It rolls an 11.
All right. Now, multi-attack defense. Every single attack after this has I have 24 armor class because of the thing that I took, defensive tactics.
Oh man, that is really superior. Okay, new dice, bigger number, and I roll. Let's see, that's 18, 19, 23.
24 is my new armor class.
Oh, you dog! And then it's going to try to chomp at you with its mandibles. And so I need whatever roll last time. 50. I feel like 16 to hit you.
Yeah, you need a 16 to hit me.
16. Okay, natural 20 coming
On
up.
6.
Or a 3.
Ding dang. Yeah. 3 works just as poorly. The other one at 6 on Boris. All right, so
You had something to do at the start of your turn, as I recall.
so when a creature starts its turn within 30 feet of the Umber Hulk.
Oh,
so
okay.
I think it's when
Okay.
That's good to know.
so
Yeah, so it will be on my turn.
okay, but then
I didn't start my turn within 30 feet.
Now we are 30 feet within this one. We weren't 30 feet before.
Okay. All right, so it's attacking Boris first with a claw attack, armor class.
21.
Yeah, kind of the same thing all over again. And that's a 15 and misses. Second one, wow, man. That is an 22.
I expend a second level spell slot to activate Uko's Rebuke.
So no.
No, yes, but it takes damage.
Oh, okay.
It is allowed a dexterity saving throw. It's a DC of...
Oh, this is, okay, the
16, yeah.
The reskinning of Hellish Rebuke. Okay.
Yeah, but lightning damage instead of fire, and it's not from hell.
Right. All right, so you said it's a...
Can I get a D10 off?
A dex saving throw?
Yeah.
Now, you still take your damage, right?
Oh, yeah. I still get hit, but it also takes damage.
All right, so, which is nice. So, his dex saving throw is going to be 13.
Does not beat my DC of 16.
No, it does not.
Right.
All right, so...
Nice.
He takes 26... Yeah, 26 lightning and 5 necrotic.
Holy smokes.
Hit me again.
Ba-boom!
You said 26 and what?
And 5 necrotic.
And 5. I almost wrote 15. I don't know why.
You can take 15
I
if you
want
want.
to help you out or something. You guys don't need any helping out. So, yeah, shattering damage. Well, mister, you also took 8.
Okay.
I need much bigger monsters. That's all there is to it. There should have been like a whole herd of these things in here.
Technically, there is a whole herd of these
It's
things in
last attack. It's mandible attack.
Okay.
Although you think he'd be rethinking this. Like, do I really want to try to put a piece of it in my mouth? I'm thinking not.
This is spicy.
All right, so
Why is it spicy?
And that's a 24. He
All
hits
right,
you.
I expend another second. level spell.
I'm going to teach you
actually,
one way or another.
I don't know if you
dude.
can because you only get one reaction per. But we went so quickly onto the other one, I wanted to use my reaction on my turn too, because of that new rogue thing I have, to just take a few steps backwards. That way it can't just come and hit me again, because I'm going to be firing with disadvantage because of the bow. Can I go back and do that?
I'm okay with
Okay.
that. All right, so it's a new thing. And let's see, that's 14 points of damage, Boris.
Taken.
All right. Dang. That hurt me more than it hurt you. I'm very aware.
This is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you.
It's like,
Correct, and I will facilitate that hurt.
all right, so we're back up to 15. And while this is happening, the fight is happening over to your right-hand side with these other 3 Umber Hulks, the drones, the fighters, and the sisters as well. So, Jacob, up there at 15.
All right, cool. It was within range of both Zelen and myself, right? And
Yes.
So now that I've moved back a little bit.
But you still need to make a
Oh, this is a
DC. Okay, make a charisma saving throw.
Charisma saving throw. I have that. That's a number. 14.
You fail.
Ooh.
On a failed saving throw, the creature can't take reaction. That is you. Can't take reaction until the start of its next turn and rolls a d8 to determine what it does during that turn. So go ahead and roll a d8 for me.
Can't take reactions? 4 on the d8.
You just stand there and do nothing.
Oh, that's...
Now, nothing sounds like you're not even defending yourself.
Yeah, that's no fun.
So that happened.
It takes no action.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was it. 15, 14, 30. So we're right back down to 6 with Zelen and my Umber Hulk. So I think first thing first, Zelen, go ahead and roll that.
Did I get skipped last round?
Saving throw.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did. Oh, yeah, because he did damage. You just assumed he
Yeah.
had his turn. He's at the
So,
bottom of the pile.
that's right. Okay, I get automatic crits. You swear word.
Because you did so much damage to it.
Victor says, swear word, swear word.
Yeah.
I'll just say beep, beep, beep.
Yeah,
All
right.
right, my apologies.
Yeah.
Go ahead, roll it.
Yeah, 16 versus armor class for the first attack.
Let me go back up to armor class. That is a miss.
Oh, okay, we're getting closer.
Dang it. And have a 28 versus armor class.
That hit.
Barely.
Okay.
I hit pretty good. At like you're 30 and 31.
Is it a fiend or an undead?
It is not.
We've asked about every other creature type for these Umber Hulks, so I thought I might as well.
type that's out there we've asked about.
Okay, expending a second level spell slot for a smite. I need 2 from you and 1 from you.
There you go.
Thank you,
There it is.
gentlemen. And that right there. Oh wait, I'm starting my turn within. What's the DC on its ability? I'm curious.
15.
Okay.
Oh, I missed it by that little.
Yeah.
Okay, natural 20 for a 33. It can
Yes.
shut up.
It's blinking at you, and you don't seem to be paying attention to it.
I don't give a singular damn.
Imagine from its point of view, it's like blink, blink, blink. Look at my eyes, look at my eyes, and it sees like this squared off hammer being coming closer,
Looking right
and
at him,
closer.
bud.
Hey, this isn't working so
Okay,
well.
that is 14 magical bludgeoning. Let's see. 15 radiant and 1 necrotic.
All right, it is still ambulatory.
Let me double check my bonus actions.
Okay.
Real quick. I think that's my lot for now. What the heck? I'm going to expend a first level spell slot to cast Shield of Faith on myself.
All right, go for it. And that does what for you again?
Adds 2 to my armor class.
Okay, set. All right, and now over to Zelen. You were about to roll that saving throw, or had you just failed it?
No, Jacob just failed it.
I
Okay.
failed, yeah.
All right, so
You know, he
You're
was like,
starting
roll
your
a saving
round
throw.
thing.
And he's like, did I get skipped?
did I
was
get
about-
skipped?
5.
Plus
I don't know.
whatever it says by your charisma saving throw. It should be
6. 7.
11. So 12?
I have a +2 charisma.
Oh,
Yeah, she's a druid. She's not proficient in charisma saves.
okay.
I think I'm the only one in the party who is, and I add double charisma.
Roll
because
a
I'm
D8.
paladin.
1.
You also just stand there and do nothing.
All right, I think we want an 8 because I think 8 is axed normally. If we have to fail this save.
Yeah,
Yeah, step 1 is don't fail the save.
yeah, so that would be the one there. All right, and so then on its actual round, so it is in proximity. One is in proximity to,
Boris.
and one's in proximity to who?
Now, this
attacked last
particular
time?
thing it's doing with its eye, it's not charm. Right? No, yours is specific about. You're the one that's just immune to charm in general, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, which one of you two, Jacobs and Zelen, were attacked last time?
I was attacked last time.
Okay, so I would think it's going to stay on you. It has no reason to move.
Does it help us at all that we're within 10 feet of you?
I don't think
We're
you
not.
are.
He went to go be in melee like a good boy.
Yeah, and so this is first on Jacob.
Yeah, I thought for some crazy reason the hungry monster things would attack the guy who's nearby, not sprint right past him.
Other
well.
side of the wall. Let's see. That's
It wasn't a wall, it was a tube.
16. It's not a tumor.
It's not a tool, man.
It's a tuba. That's a 16.
That's a miss. And
you're
now
just-
it's a 24.
You're just standing there. You're just like standing
Well, it's
doing-
not standing there. I just didn't attack
you
him.
just, yeah, took no action and one higher, 17. So I guess it's third attack. Come on, new dice. Let's roll. Nice big number.
Roll
He
even
just-
lower.
Oh, he did. Crap.
Wait,
And then
maybe I
on-
can just stay here and do that.
Let Boris do all the work.
I'm sweating a lot less. This is actually pretty good. And now on Boris, same thing. First attack. And you're what? Jacked up to what?
23.
Jeez.
Nice. Good job.
Okay, that's 17
Yeah, it misses.
and misses. It's second attack. All right, that's 22.
And misses.
22 misses. That sucks. New dice. Okay, rolling it. About to roll a natural 20. I know I say that a lot, but this time it
I
actually
dare you.
will be not a natural 20.
Okay, I guess I'm
eight-
not electrocuting
8
this
is
guy
directly adjacent to the natural 20, though, isn't it?
Like,
No, it's not. Not on your
that
die.
Hey,
So,
so I hate
all
to
of its attacks miss.
I hate to mention this, but the wall of the stone is a concentration spell. I'm assuming that just the fact that I can't move
It
around
didn't say
doesn't
you didn't
do
lose
anything.
concentration, so you didn't lose concentration.
Oh, yeah, and she didn't take any damage, so yeah. So you don't have to roll that
Okay.
concentration.
I just-
Nice.
I
We'll
was
go with
being
that.
honest.
All right, Jacob, top
Wrong.
of the.
Boris, I'm getting an extra attack every time you do that. Okay, 29 versus armor class.
Yeah, that's it.
Second attack misses. I will spend.
You stole
yet-
my D8s.
Yeah, I can. I know. They're-
He still has them. Yeah.
I think I've. Yeah, I've got one of your D10s too. See how many. Yeah, I still have plenty of second level slots to burn. Spending one of them. That's just satisfying.
That is a good sound.
Okay, that
Wow.
is 16 magical bludgeoning, 22 radiant, and 3 necrotic. I got.
And you were doing that to subdue?
Oh no! Screw this guy. And incidentally, for that gaze thing he's been doing, have a 32 and stick it.
Yeah. All right. So
Is it dead?
yes, you just
Okay, I
punched
moved to
a
engage with
hole
the other one.
through its chest. Yeah, moving to engage. Got it. And then that was a Boris at 4. So now it's Jacob.
Cool.
Up the
All
top
right.
of the round.
And you're within 10
new-
feet of me, so you add +4 to your saving throws.
Nice. All right. My save is a number that is equal to a. What's my save?
4.
15.
that makes it exactly.
Oh, thank you.
That's
What
it.
I'm here for.
All right,
That
cool.
was very, very close.
Question: if Boris is now moved up and he is on the opposing side from it now, are we flanking?
Yes.
Nice. So that's rolling with advantage if I
That
if I
is.
remember
Yeah, that
correctly.
Are you shooting in melee, though?
Oh, it moved up on me, didn't it?
Yeah.
All right, I will use my bonus action to disengage and get, because disengage gets me just out of melee, right?
Disengage means you don't provoke attacks of opportunity.
Son of a.
So
well, yeah,
you
no, I still get a
disengage
move.
when you move.
Yeah, disengage, use my move, get back.
And then shoot.
Action was that, which was a 9 plus numbers, which makes it into the 20s.
And that would hit.
Okay, cool. And then, D8. Oh, I need D8.
Hey,
And
how about that?
Another D8
Yeah.
because it's below
Give me
10
that
point
back.
maximum. 2D6 because of that, and that's everything. Cool. That is 8, 2,
And a lot of
10,
dice.
18, 25 points of damage.
Doing the math.
I have one more arrow when you're ready.
All right. So you're still up, and so is he.
Okay. Take a 29.
Hits.
And then, no sneak attack damage. Colossus Slayer, I believe, was once per turn. So yeah, this one's very. Oh, forgot my Hunter's Mark on the last one. Can I roll that now? Hunter's
No.
Mark on the pre.
You always do.
Oh yeah, I just forgot.
Technically, you should roll it
I'm missing a
twice.
D6. I don't have enough to roll all at once. 10 more points of damage.
All right. So he is still combative. Phew. All right. Zelen at 6. Make your save.
Plus 4.
2 plus 4 is 6.
Plus
then
4.
plus whatever your
no,
saving
sorry.
throw.
2 plus 2 is 4
And then plus
plus-
4 from me.
is 8.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound like it.
Yeah. So roll that D8 again.
Get an 8. Get an 8. Get an 8.
Big numbers.
Axe normally, right?
On a roll of 7-8, the creature makes one melee attack against a random creature.
But there's only one creature within range, I believe.
What does
Yeah,
that mean?
random creature is anything, not
Yeah,
random
that's like-
hostile.
Oh, no, but there's
any-
only one creature within range of her, and it's the Umber Hulk, right?
You guys are there too.
Well, I moved back. I don't know
Inurriak
about...
are there too.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So there's all kinds of big creatures randomly.
He really
So-
singled us out if there's all these other targets.
So go ahead within like your move and attack. Go ahead and
Well, the
roll,
other 3 are currently in fights.
roll a d12.
I thought Axe normally was one of the options. I guess
Probably, it's probably one of the middle ones.
Oh,
3.
That's Jacob.
son of a...
So I'm gonna
That's
throw.
hysterical.
I'm gonna throw a dart.
You're not going to be... It's melee. You have to run up and punch me.
Yeah,
You
or
have to
hit him with
a
your staff.
hand thing. Yeah.
You're not going to hit
Gotta
me.
clunk him.
All right, roll a d20.
Roll it.
Roll, see if you hit.
Well, just take your reaction and back out of her range, and then she's done.
Yeah, right?
9.
Close.
Well, what with pluses? What's your any other attack? If you're attacking a monster, you're rolling those numbers too.
Not, but I
Oh,
don't
whatever your
attack
plus to
them
hit
that
is.
same way. Plus to hit what? I only do magic.
Are you using your
attacks.
fists or your staff?
I'll use my fists.
Okay.
Go to actions. All the pluses are the same.
Oh, here, no, I'll use the unarmed strike because that's only a +6.
do that.
I'll do that. So it's a 15.
Oh, the 16 also still would have missed.
It's a 15.
Yeah.
All right. And
Smack, smack.
all right, and then
Well, I
it-
mean, since an enemy has ended its turn within 5 feet of me, I'm going to go ahead and use my
well,
reaction.
but I do think that it also gets an attack of opportunity on Zelen because it moved out of.
We had maneuvered past her.
Excuse me.
Or she maneuvered past it.
Yeah. So and as it
Roll an
goes,
acrobatics check.
so it's not all of its attack. It's just the one, right? Just like it's one basic attack. All right. So
Wait, she ran to go and do that?
yeah, she had to move to you. Yeah, but I only rolled an 12 on that, so whoof and miss.
Okay.
But
I like that
was
sound.
the opportunity attack, and so then its other attack. So both of you guys are right up there and close. Let's see, or within its range to attack. So a 1, 2, 3.
No, he moved out with his movement. She moved.
Wait, how far did you move, Jacob, with your movement? Oh, you said
I used the disengage and then I moved back, just not to where we would be around the corner, just so as far back as I could.
oh, I thought you moved like just like 5 feet away from it or something like.
Oh no, I was getting a distance away, so because I was firing back with my arrows.
Okay, so then it makes sense to be Zelen then.
But I'm
No.
next to him
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
hit him.
because she ran
Oh,
up to
she's
me.
ramped to him to do that. But
So then the
it's
Boris is
me.
right next to him. Yeah,
all right, attacking Boris.
you can come and try and hit me.
And that's a 15.
I can beat the tar out of it too.
And finally a hit on its second one.
I
It's
expend
gonna-
the second level
I know.
spell slot.
This will be a very bad.
Imagine
one,
hitting
actually.
and going, damn it!
Oh man. Yeah.
I'm gonna. Oh
Yeah.
man, my die's
Yeah.
been doing good for you.
Right. Let's see. That is,
26.
yeah, 26 lightning and 2 necrotic.
Okay, so as it hits you and just does 11 points of damage, its chest explodes. You put your hammer through it,
Nice.
and
Well,
it
that's
just,
Not even
just,
that, that's
yeah,
just
that's just
God.
I clench my fist and lightning erupts from me because it was stupid enough to touch me,
and bunch, it's right,
like the
yeah.
peasant it is.
It doesn't know any better.
Am I drifting conquest? Yes. Is that a problem? Definitely.
So it is down, and within just the next moment or so, the rest of this battle that was happening off to your right is also done, down, and over.
Does that mean my head is back?
Yes.
Yes. That you are no longer.
You've been ineffectually just like thumping on Jacob's armor as I've just been blowing holes through these things.
Yeah.
I would have played a bigger role in this fight, but Zella wouldn't stop attacking me.
All right. So when the whole thing is done, there are a number of deaths in the that have happened over there.
Was it Shatask, Isk, or Thovit?
Uh-oh.
We have, let's see. Well, there's one drone that's been very, very injured, and they're probably gonna take it out themselves. One that's been wounded.
Well, they're probably going to let it walk
They'll
back and
probably,
then they'll take it out.
either kill or take it out. 2 soldiers are dead, and 2 of the drones are dead.
Are either of those two...
Neither is North of it.
Okay, good. Then the red shirts serve their purpose. If they don't care about their lives, I don't care about their lives either.
So, Zelen, what do you do with your wall of stone that's the cylinder?
Are there more openings into this space?
There are a number one.
So I would want the drones to seal the openings.
Let's just make a quick withdrawal. Like,
Yeah,
let's
just
grab it and
release it,
run.
grab and run.
Okay. All right. So I drop my tube and we grab it and run.
Okay, yeah. So as you do that, it probably just falls onto the ground, and it is a fairly massive thing. It's probably going to take all of the remaining soldiers just to carry this thing. That it's a pretty big thing. It's a weighty thing. But,
Take it in shifts and get moving.
all right, so you guys head back, and yeah, as far as what's the biggest, nastiest things in this area, well, that's definitely you guys. The second biggest things were the Umber Hulks. So you can imagine there's not going to be big predators, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of stuff that's going to be between where you are now and getting back to Chitakdan.
Thanks for listening and a Happy New Year. We hope you enjoyed the first episode of 2022, and I hope you're as excited as I am to see what we have in store. By now, you've realized if you forgot any Christmas gifts, so for that not-so-special someone, give the gift of podcasts. Send them a link to our podcast and a heartfelt message that you think they deserve something nice but not that costs money. Speaking of, gimme at subscribestar.com/the-empires-edge. Sorry.
Way to mute things, David.
All the sounds to play.
Yeah, the only thing that would have been better was, oh no, our satellite village, it's broken.
We ready?
Yeah.
Probably not. Do you want to turn the volume down on your
No,
phone?
I turned it down. I just forgot I showed you guys something right back when we came back.
Or are
from
you
napping.
sure you've turned it down since
I
then?
did. Stop it.